Meet Sarah. Tuesday morning, she pulls into her usual servo on the way to work. Same servo, same time, same car. But this week, filling up cost her almost $15 more than it did 2 weeks ago. She didn't drive further, she didn't change cars. So what changed? The answer starts 8,000 kilometers away, in a stretch of water most Australians have never even heard of. I'm Kellan from Wealth Foundation. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why that's happened, and what it could mean for you too. Let's go. It's called the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow channel of water between Iran and Oman. It doesn't look like much on a map, but roughly 20% of the entire world's oil passes through it. Right now, over 800 ships are stuck waiting in the Gulf, unable to pass safely. Before the conflict, around 135 ships crossed that strait every single day. So a shipping route most of us will never see is quietly deciding how much you pay to fill up your car. Here's how that actually works. Oil is traded globally. When markets think supply is going to get tighter, prices rise, because buyers start bidding higher to secure what's still available. When this conflict first broke out, the global oil price jumped around 10 to 13% almost overnight. It's been swinging wildly ever since, dropping back down as things calmed, then jumping again this week after fresh strikes. That back and forth is exactly why the price you see at the pump keeps changing too. But here's the part that actually matters for Sarah and for you. Some countries barely notice this. Australia isn't one of them. Australia imports around 90% of the fuel we use. We don't have the local production buffer that some countries do, so world oil prices flow almost directly through to the pump. At the height of the disruption, analysts estimated prices could rise by up to 40 cents a litre, adding around $24 to fill an average 60-litre tank. That's Sarah's $15, and it could still climb further. There's also a safety net question worth knowing about. Australia's emergency fuel reserve currently holds around 36 days of petrol, the biggest stockpile we've had in 15 years, but still thinner than international guidelines recommend. It's not just petrol either. The same disruption pushed international gas prices up around 12%, which matters if you remember our video on electricity and gas bills. The good news, Australia has a mandatory gas code and a price cap on the east coast that offers some protection. It's not a complete shield, but it means we're better insulated than a lot of other countries right now. Here's the chain reaction continuing. Fuel is one of the most volatile parts of Australia's inflation figure. When petrol and gas prices jump, they can drag the whole inflation number up with them. Australia's underlying inflation was already running at 3.6% in May, above the Reserve Bank's target range of 2 to 3%. This conflict makes bringing that number down a lot harder. This is exactly the kind of pressure the Reserve Bank watches closely, because their main tool for controlling inflation is the cash rate. And Sarah's story connects here too. She has a mortgage. In 2026, the RBA already raised the cash rate 3 times, February, March and May, taking it from 3.60% up to 4.35%. That's added around $295 a month to a typical $700,000 mortgage. In June, the board held the rate steady. They wanted to see how the economy responded to those hikes and how this conflict played out before moving again. But just this week, the RBA's assistant governor made a pointed comment. She confirmed the bank will do whatever is necessary to bring inflation back to target, and specifically warned that further tightening could be needed if energy prices keep pushing inflation up. Markets are currently pricing in the cash rate reaching 4.7% by the end of the year. That would mean one more rate rise is a real possibility, not certain, but live. Which brings us back to Sarah. If that happens, what does it actually mean for her monthly budget? A further 0.25% rate rise would typically add somewhere between $90 and $150 a month to a loan in that $600,000 to $1 million range. On top of the $295 a month she's already absorbed this year. That's real money out of a real household budget. But it's not a reason to panic, it's a reason to prepare. Let's talk about what you can actually do. Step 1. Use a fuel price comparison app and fill up when prices cycle low, rather than whenever it's convenient. Prices in most cities move in cycles, and timing it can genuinely save you money. Step 2. Stress test your mortgage budget against a further 0.25 to 0.5% rate rise now, so if it happens, it's not a shock to your budget. Step 3. Check whether you're actually on a competitive rate. Lenders compete hardest for refinance business right after RBA decisions, so this is actually a good window to ask. And finally, try not to panic. Oil price spikes during past conflicts have eased over time. This is about managing the next few months sensibly, not assuming prices stay this high forever. So next time Sarah fills up her tank or checks her mortgage statement, she'll know exactly why. And now, so do you. If this helped connect the dots, subscribe. Every Monday, Kellan breaks down what's actually happening with your money in plain English. I'm Kellan. Take care of your money, because nobody else will.